Are you ready to get the Hydrafacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a Hydrafacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrafacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
Well, before I knew it, she was on the stage beside me. She was wrapped round me. I was running along the stage with her attached to me. I was still singing, and I'm trying to get security to get her off me. She's kissing me all down the side of my face.
I think you realised, Dee, that the skin was feeling great. You didn't, there's no downtime. Your skin just looked amazing.
Amazing.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Did you have a good birthday?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. It was a bit of a magical mystery tour, but I shall tell you about it when Harriet comes back.
Yes.
If she comes back.
Oh, I know.
Because if Sherry and Harriet are on screen together, then my theory is thwarted.
Yes, well, that's the point, isn't it? Yes. We shall see. We shall see. We will. Time will tell. Yeah. Yeah. So who have we got today, Dee? Well, a very exciting guest today. She is actually the national treasure for Scotland, introduced by the lovely June Field, our psychic. And she has got the most amazing voice. You'll hear some of that later. Vocalist, a songwriter, the amazing Horse McDonald. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Hey. Welcome to the Wonderbirds nest. It's lovely to see you and lovely to meet you. And the first thing I'm going to have to say to you is, why are you called Horse?
Oh, there's probably a long answer to that one. And when I was growing up, I actually didn't want to be a girl. I think probably now I would be called non-binary, but I just did not want to be a girl. And I used to go to stables and I just struck upon calling myself Horse. My mum and dad weren't having it at first, but within a few years, everyone called me Horse. And I've grown as the years have gone on to realise that people's names, it's the sound of the word. So when people say horse, or somebody's called Horse for God's sake, and they picture an animal, but my logo is the seahorse because it's a little bit more me, I think. The word horse is soft and strong at the same time, which really does, I think, represent me. So it's something I threw at the wall, and it seems to have stuck, but in a good way. I feel very much like Horse is me.
I'm a very horse person. I have been all my life. So nobody understands the smell of a horse like I do. It's so I get that completely. So totally. Tell us about your beginnings.
I was a very happy little child until I think I got to the age of 8. My mum's used to say to me that I used to talk to people up ladders. I was very chatty, very friendly. And when I think it was around about 8 years old, I was abducted, but very briefly, but enough for it to be a sliding doors moment. And I think all of me at the root has been about protecting that little girl and trying to find her voice. And I'm only aware of these things now as I get older, as I realise that singing has been a lifesaver for me. And I developed it by some osmosis, really. I didn't fit in, like a lot of people, I didn't fit in. And I was at school, I was chased by gangs because I was androgynous. I wasn't very girly. I literally was attacked by people. Growing up and being the outsider it's almost a safer place to be. And I think I've sort of looked after myself by some strange osmosis by singing. And singing is, I think, one of those things that people go to football matches, they sing their hearts out. People go to choirs. Music and singing is a beautiful essence, and it's a human essence, a very natural thing. And for some, again, I keep using this, I love the word osmosis because it completely describes me from the inside out, saving myself. And I know we're talking about my beginnings, but just literally during my tour. I've just finished my tour. During the tour, we were somewhere, I think in Fife, and this little voice popped up. You know what it's like when you're performing. It just suddenly went quiet, and there was a lull, and the audience that fell into a natural lull, and this voice came up, and it said, the voice said, "Horse, your music saved my life." And I was like, whoa, and the audience went, whoa. And he said, "No, don't make light of this. It's your voice, your music saved my life." And I didn't know what to say. And I sort of thought for a moment, and I said, I think what's happened here is that music saved my life, and creating music was the thing that kept me together. And all I'm doing is paying it back. And that natural thing about being hurt or being upset, scared, sad, just comes out in my singing and my music. And I actually now believe it's been sent to me from somewhere, and all I do is send it out to people. And it truly is quite a healing process. June Field, I went to one of her sessions, and she sort of recognised my parents being jammed either side of me. And I'd already been to several sessions with people before, and the core of me believes that I'll see my parents again. And she's someone who just has some sort of she has a magical essence, and seems to be able to pay things forward or pass things forward. Recently, she came to my show in Dundee and said, "I'll give you some healing." And I was like, fantastic, yeah. So she was sitting, and she just suddenly said, there was silence. She was healing. She was putting her healing hands around my throat and my head and my neck. And she went, "I'm not going to hurt her." So basically, my mum and dad were just jammed either side of me. I'm never, ever astonished by it. It feels very natural. And I think she's really very gifted at sharing that and passing things forward for people. It was a really lovely healing thing to do.
Which is what you do with your music as well. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. You know, you heal, don't you? When you listen to songs, I'm sure we've all had this, you know, reminds us of places and lifts our spirits, or makes us sad. So it's the same sort of energy, isn't it, I suppose?
I don't understand it, but I think that's right. And I think you'll see behind me, there's my portrait that Roxana Halls did. I don't know if you can see that. This was a gift to me in a way, because she came to see a show. Roxana Halls is a living artist, a living legend. She's a lesbian too, also a woman in a man's world, very much a man's world. And we kind of met at one of my shows, and she said, it's a bit like, "Do you want to come up and see my etchings?" She said, "Would you like to come to my studio?" And I said, yes. And I saw her paintings. I just love her work. And she said, "Has anyone ever done your portrait before?" And I was like, no, not really, not proper portrait. She said, "Well, I would like to paint you." And I was like, well, fine, great. So the next time I was able to go to London, I sat for her, and she said, "Well, how do you want to be? Where do you want to go?" And I said, "Well, I can only sing. I have to sing, because singing is my way of communicating, and it's me, and you'll get the true me, the inner me." So I sang, God knows how many times, I sang the song that's synonymous with me, which is "Careful." And I sang it over and over and over. And she did the portrait. She didn't tell me what was going underneath all of this. I think things are sometimes meant to be, whether it's June or whether it's things in life that happen to you. I think they're meant to be. So we were definitely meant to meet. She was meant to do my portrait. Imogen Gibbon, who's one of the main curators from the National Portrait Gallery and galleries in Scotland, had coincidentally been to see one of Roxana's shows and said, I would love to have you in our galleries, but obviously you need a Scottish content." And she went, "Oh, I'm painting horse." And she went, "Ah, How perfect. So unbeknownst to me, the whole process of a portrait or a painting being acquired is a very long process because you're spending the government's money basically. So lots of people were involved in making the decision and went to different panels, etc., etc. Anyhow, the very, very end of it, Roxana told me that they were at the end stages of that, and it was then acquired for the nation and now hangs in the Scottish National Portrait Gallery. So, but when I saw the portrait, you can see it's very bright. I usually wear black or dark blue, but here I thought I'm going to wear bright colours today. But in the portrait, you see how bright and colourful it is, and I didn't recognise it. I looked at it and I said, "Oh, that's not really. Oh, no, that's not really me." But the more we spoke about it and the more I thought about it, what she's captured is the insides out. That is my voice. So it's just the most wonderful, wonderful thing. I just, sorry, I know I'm going on and on, but I get very excited about it. There are not many women in galleries.
No.
Images of women. There are not many portraits or paintings by women. So being in amongst all of these blokes, A, because I'm a woman, and B, because I'm gay, is amazing. And I think about a young child, the young me, for example, walking through a gallery and going, wow, look, there are other people like you there, you know? So it's amazing.
Amazing, amazing. Darling, I actually, I've heard through the grapevine that some extraordinary things happen to you when you're on the road, because I know you pack out big sort of venues. And I think somebody actually said, it could have been June or somebody told me that people have actually threatened to leave their husbands or wives for you, to be with you. Is this true?
Yeah, I seem to be a bit of a sex symbol, you know, even at this stage. I think. Oh, do you know what's really funny? I think part of this is because when I sing to people, I'm very open. And when I first started off, I'd be hiding behind my guitar or standing with my microphone. And now it's not. It sounds a bit Jesus-like, but I kind of open my arms and I give myself to the audience. And I think they feel that they know me, and of course they don't. But there've been a few comments where husbands have actually put up, well, is it true that, you know, his wife's name or someone's wife's name is being a lesbian for the evening? Did she become a lesbian for the evening? I've got an even funnier story. I was doing a show and it was mobbed, people screaming, all that stuff. And I was on the stage and I think the security guards were just sitting reading the paper at the side of the stage. But I was doing my usual, you know, I was on top of the stage and I was kind of like reaching out to the audience and kind of not teasing them as such, but, you know, just kind of reaching out to them and doing my thing. And I saw this woman and the stage was at least 6 foot high. And I could see her kind of going like this, trying to get up. And I thought, you know, and I wandered about and I was singing. Well, before I knew it, she was on the stage beside me. She was wrapped round me. I was running along the stage with her attached to me. I was still singing and I'm trying to get security to get her off me. She's kissing me all down the side of my face. And eventually we go off the stage and the band are like, are you all right? Are you all right? Because I had bright red down here. I said, I think it's just lipstick. Anyhow, the security had taken this woman and her friend and they were backstage and we had to walk past them to go back to the dressing rooms. And the woman was crying and she's going, I don't know what to do. I don't want my husband anymore. I want Horse.
How brilliant.
I was playing at the Marquee and my tour manager of the time, John Witherspoon, is now Tori Amos's manager. And he just sort of used to leave you and wander and come back, leave you with fans, you know, wander, come back. And I was engulfed by these fans and they were having a fight. What, you're a man or a woman, you know, and shouting. And I was like, pfft, and I had to get dragged away from these fans who were fighting amongst themselves. Because I think people like to have you as in their club. They like to have you as their representative. And we've seen that expand over the years. And John Witherspoon says that's the last time you're meeting fans. And it wasn't the last time, but it frightened me. It really did frighten me. Because you can't be everything to everybody. I'm part of a project in Germany called 100% Mensch, 100% human. And this charity will do a project on an annual basis. And I went over to Berlin and I sang on the track, which is called Not Alone. And the money, any money raised from that, goes to a collaboration of charities from Ukraine.
Great.
LGBTQI plus, etc. charities, who need help and support. So I did that, and that for me, it's just a wonderful way of giving back, isn't it?
Of course. And we are actually going to play some of your music now.
Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart when you're out of reach.
Careful is my song that was written as a simple pop song with Angela McLinden and myself. And when my mum was dying, I said to my family, I'd like to sing for her. And they were like, how are you going to do that? And I said, I don't know. And I sang to Mum before she passed away. I sang this song. And I sang it a cappella. So it's just me, my voice. And, you know, I looked at her, she couldn't speak. She had ovarian cancer. She couldn't speak. But in her eyes, I saw everything. I saw everything.
Beautiful.
She was smiling. And it felt really incredible that all these years later, you know, my mum brought me into the world, and now I was watching her leave the world. And this song just seems to have that essence to it. It's fragile. It's about love. It's about the fragility of love. And I've sung it to a few people since who have been passing away, and people just absolutely love it. If you go onto my Twitter page, when the portrait was hung in the National Portrait Gallery, I sang it because people kept saying, how do you feel about this portrait? And I couldn't put it into words, but I sang and my voice flies around the gallery. It's just a wonderful moment.
Amazing voice. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Well, how fascinating is Horse? I could listen. I don't know if you listen to any of her music, but I was listening to some of it. Honestly, at one point I turned it off because it was so emotional. Every song she sings, it really touches your heart. It does. She's got a fabulous voice, but it's more about connecting with people, isn't it? Really, she's amazing. I was feeling a bit low, and I was watching her, and I mean, it just blew me away. So please listen to her, everybody. She is amazing.
Then we have another guest, don't we?
We do. She's actually going to be talking about her incredible career, but also and the treatments that she's actually designed herself. And she's going to be our resident skin specialist. And it's the amazing Sharon Hilditch. Welcome to our nest, Sharon. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. And lovely to see you all, ladies online.
And you too.
Yes, lovely to see you again, because we've actually known each other for years.
I know. As soon as Dee mentioned your name, I remembered you because, sometimes in my industry, people can not be nice. And you were always so lovely. That's how I remembered you.
Oh,
because you told me to go and
I thought you were going to tell them my secret that I'm not nice at all.
No, I'll do that.
It's quite hard when you're starting off, and it was years ago. And I remember Debbie being just really nice. And you remember people that are nice to you.
Oh,
she is lovely.
Well, now you're going to transform my décolletage is on the way out. I mean, it looks like a quilted. It looks like a quilted sort of weird thing. I was looking at it thinking, what's happened? It's just like suddenly gone boom. What happened?
Unfortunately, because it's so thin, the skin on our décolletage, and because we are rubbish at putting our cream all the way through the body, I always say hydration is key. And you have to make sure the skin is hydrated. We were just talking to Sherry, and Sherry's got a fabulous décolleté.
Give us a flash, Sherry. Give us a flash.
The only bit left of me, I'm afraid. Nonsense.
Amazing. But you've always put oil and used products.
Yes. Can I just ask you about Crystal Clear? Because I remember crystal clear when it very first started, but I think it's probably changed a lot, hasn't it, over the years?
Yeah, well, we started, gosh, it's a long time, 27 years.
Yes.
Like my third cycle.
Starting, yeah.
And when we started off just with, I worked alongside plastic surgeons looking after patients after quite traumatic chemical peels, dermabrasion. And I remember I was looking for something that wasn't as harsh, because when you look after the patients and you see sometimes the post-op issues that they can have, not all, but some, I remember thinking, I've got to find another way of skin resurfacing, but that doesn't give you that downtime. And I was working with a surgeon in Italy, and I came across the very huge medical microdermabrasion systems. And at that time, they were training doctors on their system, but at that time, that medical microdermabrasion system was aimed at blasting crystals at the skin, taking all of the skin cells off, taking the layers off rather, and then the patient would still go through a post-operative recovery time. Yeah. I like the system, but however, to us, you're better to stick with something you know, because you know how to manage those post-op problems. But I like the idea of the crystals exfoliating the skin. So when I came back, I chatted to a partner at the time, and we approached Liverpool University to help us build a system of microdermabrasion that blasted crystals at the skin, but instead of it doing it really aggressively, we did a progressive treatment over a period. And at that time, 27 years ago, certainly in the skincare sector and clinics and salons, we didn't have anything like that. We were using peels, fruit acid peels. So when we launched that system, suddenly, you could go, I remember going to the trade show, and I remember having no money and thinking, oh my God, what are people, all our investments have gone into this system. What are people going to think about this system? Well, we were at this trade show, which I'd never been to before, because I'd always been involved in more hospital settings. And we didn't sell one system. However, we got so many other exhibitors coming over asking, could they be a distributor? So I realized then, I thought, well, we are definitely onto something. And at that time, we appointed someone that really helped. And that was the start of Crystal Clear, because you could do half the face. Literally, you see the difference in the clarity of the skin. And so for clients, they see it there and then. And I always think we've become really motivated by results. We have to achieve something. It's like Dee, when you came into me the other day, we were doing a press launch, ladies, with my new Skin Storm system. And Dee was a little bit, she was very calm, but I knew she was apprehensive. She'd lie on bed like this today. Oh God, what's going to happen? Literally halfway through, I think you realised, Dee, that the skin was feeling great. You didn't, there's no downtime. Your skin just looked amazing.
Amazing. And I went on the tube without any makeup because I felt so confident walking out of there.
I think what people just want, I mean, the most important thing about all skincare is it works. I mean, you can go through all of these sort of things and, not everything suits everyone. But I'm sure with these sort of facials, because the practitioners know what they're looking for, they will give you what's right for you and tweak it in the right ways. Is that right?
Exactly right, Debbie. It's all about bespoke treatment. So certainly when you came in the other day, Dee, we've got a lady that's a lot younger with problematic skin that had been earlier in the morning. And then you're, the same as me. We've got our skin's more aging, and we're looking more to rejuvenate the skin. But even on the lady that came in the morning with congestion, she had exactly the same treatment or the same system, but it's how we bespoke it. So we've different treatments. So she wouldn't have had, the extensive high-low fusion, blasting in product into the skin to plump it, but we would have done more of the congestion removal in the beginning. So it's all about looking at your client and determining what you need. I think I came through quite an unusual route, because I started off in skin, then I did science, and then I got interested in skin again. Then I decided, I don't know why, I took a year out and did a law degree for a year. It's probably because I was going out with I hope he's not listening, a barrister at the time, and I wanted to be intelligent. So I decided to do that, which didn't work that well. I love law admin, I really did. But I suppose when I'd finished my first year, I thought, this is not for me. I want to be out there talking about skin, looking good. What can we do? So I went back into my own sector. And I think that's
your passion.
That's my passion, and probably the best decision. Along the way, I've been lucky enough to be awarded an MBE, which is fabulous, from the Queen. It's quite nice to be recognised for doing contributing to something. And then a couple of weeks ago, which is probably one of the ones, strangely, I'm really proud of, because I finally got to wear a beautiful red hat and gown. I was awarded a fellow of our trade fellowship of the Sitting Guilds, which is our industry, which was nice for me because that was all about achievements I've made in this sector.
That we're up for an award. Did anyone talk about that?
Have we mentioned that before, by the way?
I think the other problem is, as you get older, and I'm sure you have much older clients, is that as the skin crepes and wrinkles, the ordinary facials aren't going to work. So, and I think the days of the fillers and the Botoxes and things are dying, and that we're all looking for something a lot more natural. It's fascinating that you can still find another way for much older women, I'm talking about.
No, totally. And I'm totally with you there, because not all of us want to go through that route of lasers, and it's all about having great skin. And, you know, certainly when I was developing Skin Storm, which is our latest system, it was all about trying to find something that we could do quite a dramatic treatment, but respecting the skin at every stage.
Isn't it true that as you get older, I call it your face empties?
As we get older, the collagen starts to degrade, everything starts to go, it actually drops inwards. It goes with a volume here. That beautiful bloom of youth definitely goes
gone.
What we try and achieve when we're developing or doing new treatments, and certainly a part of this system that we have, is something called hydrafacial. Now you can have the surgical or the medical part, which is I don't know whether I can say other treatments on here, can I? Because it's a great treatment. It's where they literally inject the skin with lots of little needles, and they push hyaluronic serum into the skin. And
what's that? Mesotherapy?
No, it's called Profilo, actually. It's a lovely treatment. It's really nice. I'm not that fond. I'm not a lover of fillers, but I do like the Profilo because that's creating like a mattress effect under the skin. But what I wanted to do with our system is do something similar, but without using the needles. So on what you had experienced the other day, Dee, was the last element of that treatment. We call it hydrafacial, and literally we're powering the serum just superficially under the skin with a really high PSI, high air pressure, to blast it into the skin. It's not going deep, but what that does, what you've just said, Sherry, it plumps. You get that.
And does it last?
No, it's never going to last, because we're aging, unfortunately. If you just had a one-off facial, you'll definitely see the results. The skin will look fabulous, it'll be bloomed. But if you have a series, say you had 5 treatments, 2 weeks apart, then you're building new collagen then, so the results are going to last longer.
I'm going to get fuller. That sounds disgusting. Anyway.
Thank you, Sharon.
We have some great tools as well. I need to show you how to use them. That literally you can just use at home yourself.
Okay. Thank you. We'll see you again soon, Sharon.
Thank you.
Soon, Sharon.
Thank you so much.
Well,
wow.
That's it. I'm off to have one now. I want one now, don't you?
Definitely, we've got to do that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I really recommend it. It literally gave me a lot of confidence, actually. My makeup went on so much better the next day. Really great.
It's funny that.
Don't you have to keep going, I think.
Yeah, you have to. She said about once a month, you know, but and I'll definitely do that. Because it really is important, I think, to look after your skin, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, girls, I've got to go. I've got a date.
A date?
Yes.
Now she tells us. Now she tells us.
I will tell you about it on Tuesday.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Keep us in suspenders, will you? Bye.